Chapter 17, Antecedent Control, an ounce of prevention. In Chapter 6, on stimulus control, we talked about how controlling the antecedent stimulus, the stimulus that comes before a behavior, can affect the behavioral outcome. Put another way, if you carefully analyze a dog's behavior problem, it may be possible to solve the problem by making simple changes in the dog's environment. Understanding what is causing the problem behavior is the tricky part. Once you do, antecedent control is easy. This technique is especially nice because it may often be used in place of punishment, and nobody enjoys punishing their dog. As with just about every concept in operant conditioning, antecedent control can be broken down into several types. In this case, there are 6 of them. Antecedent control involves controlling the environment so that a problem behavior will not occur. Remove a cue for misbehavior. One antecedent control procedure is simply removing the cue for a behavior problem. Sparky is a Terrier Spaniel mix who goes to work every day with his owner. Sparky is causing problems because he sits on the floor-length window in the office and barks at anything outside that moves. The owner could choose to yell at Sparky or smack him for barking. That would be punishment. Antecedent control solutions involve removing the cues for barking. The owner could cover the window or move Sparky's bed to the other side of the office. Add a cue for being good. In Sparky's case, his owner could also provide a new cue for desirable behavior, being quiet in the office. One possibility is teaching Sparky the commands bark and quiet. He could be cued to bark at appropriate times, outside at home, or occasionally to say hello to someone in the office, and to be quiet most of the time. Another possibility is to put alternative behaviors for barking on cues such as play with your toy, chew your bone, or get in your bed. You'll notice this solution overlaps with differential reinforcement of alternative behaviors. Add an establishing operation for being good. Another antecedent control strategy for decreasing a problem behavior is to create an establishing operation that will make a desirable behavior more likely to occur. We discussed establishing operations in Chapter 3. Ajax is an Akita that destroyed his owner's possessions regularly when he was left alone uncrated during the day. Ajax was crate trained and his owner decided to use the crate. In the morning, Ajax was put in the crate while the owner got ready for work. After a few days, Ajax started running to the far corners of the yard to avoid coming in the house and going to the crate. Ajax's owner decided to go into the crate had to be more reinforcing experience. He got up 1 hour earlier and took Ajax for a walk around the neighborhood. When he returned to the yard, he and Ajax had a short, active play session before he went in to get ready for work. By then, Ajax was tired out and was more willing to come in and get in his crate. In this case, the walk and play session was the establishing operation. Remove an establishing operation for misbehavior. You probably remember from Chapter 3 that when you remove the establishing operation for a reinforcing event, its effectiveness as a reinforcer is diminished. Bruiser was a Doberman Pinscher that lived with an older couple. He was a sociable dog and loved attention. The guests who came to visit most often were the couple's adult children, all of whom liked dogs. When these family members came to visit, Bruiser would jump up and get very excited. He was allowed to visit momentarily, and then his embarrassed owners would drag him to the guest room and shut the door. The solution was to tell all family visitors to sit down as soon as they arrived so the dog could not jump on them. They were also instructed to give Bruiser plenty of attention throughout the visit because, in this case, lack of attention was the establishing operation. When they went to the kitchen, they had him come along. When they went to sit on the patio, Bruiser went too. The visitors removed the establishing operation, thus making the dog less likely to engage in this hyper, out-of-control behaviors to get attention. Decrease the response effort for good behavior. The last 2 ways of using antecedent control to decrease behaviors involve manipulating the response effort required for the dog to engage in behaviors. Response effort manipulations are more easily done with humans than with dogs, but there are some canine applications. As you might expect, decreasing the effort required for the dog to engage in a desired behavior will increase the likelihood the behavior will occur. In other words, make it easier to be good and the dog is more likely to be good. Some owners who want their dogs to play with toys or chew a rawhide bone will keep the toys in a box or out of view from company, perhaps in the kitchen or on the porch. This means the dog has to leave the room where the family is to get a chew toy, or it has to beg for the toy box to be opened. That's a lot of effort. If the toys are easily accessible in the main living area, using them requires much less effort, and the dog may be more likely to do so. When dogs get older, sometimes they develop house training problems. Oftentimes, walking down the steps to get outside is just too much trouble for an older dog. These dogs will wet their bedding rather than get up to go outside. Ramps to replace the steps and other prosthetic devices can decrease the response effort required to go outside and thus making the desired behavior more likely to occur. Response effort is the effort the dog must make in order to engage in a behavior. Increase the response effort for problem behavior. Increasing the effort required for the dog to engage in a problem behavior can result in the decrease of that behavior. For example, the owner of 3 Skipper Keys wanted the dogs to use a dog door to let themselves into the backyard. The dog started using the door to run in and out all the time, acting as if the activity itself was entertaining. But this constant coming in and going with the dog door was flapping was annoying. The owner adjusted the door so it required more force to enter and exit. The result of increasing the response effort was that the dog stopped running in and out all the time. Adjusting the door took care of the immediate problem, but ideally the whole situation would be analyzed to solve this or any other behavior problem. Why were the dogs running in and out? Were they bored? Training and appropriate activities with the owner should also have been provided. While increasing the response effort to decrease problem behavior may be a good strategy for humans, such as making it harder for a smoker to get cigarettes, it is not appropriate with dogs. We don't want to simply make it harder for dogs to engage in problem behaviors. We want to analyze the problem, eliminate the behavior, and replace it with new adaptive skills.